Okay. It is 7:02 p.m. on Wednesday, June 15th, and I will call the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting to order. I'm Sarah Melch, the chair. I have with me tonight Brian Salisi, James Mitchell, Jim Dietrich, and John Benares. The first item on the agenda is a new application. I will open the public hearing for the application of Richard Axel Magnuson for a variance under section 7.4.6 of the zoning bylaw and other relief as may be necessary to construct an extension to the existing deck on this, well, two-family home, but I think it's actually condos, to provide exterior space and egress to the apartment / condo, which will encroach into the side setback 9 feet, 8.5 inches, where 20 feet is required at 54 Mascanoma Street, Assessor's Map 18, lot number 23A, in District E, filed with the town clerk on May 5th, 2022. Mr. Magnuson, I see you're on. Would you like to present your application to us?
Yes, good evening, everybody. And this is in fact a 2 condominium unit building. And after we lost our tenant of 60 years, we got a new tenant in this apartment and need to provide an outdoor seating area for him. After a lot of consultation with our builder and an architect and a landscape architect, the placement of the patio is clear. It needs to be on the side of the house. Getting to the patio is what we're about with this application for variance. The most direct way to do that is to extend our deck, put a staircase from the deck down to the patio. Barring this, we would have had to do quite a bit of excavation and earth moving to accomplish the same thing. This does it much more economically and is a much more straightforward kind of application of deck space. We have acquired the agreement of all of our abutting neighbors, including the Gudonases and the Kneisels on both sides of us. And the Gudonas family is separated from this particular deck by a 14-foot hedge. And on the other side of that hedge is their septic field, which is a sand filtration septic pit system, which looks like it's a 25-foot long planter-like kind of thing. So this is not going to intrude on any of their living space now or into the future. The deck extension that we're proposing is actually lower than the grade of our deck, so it is even further out of sight for them, even from their upstairs windows. I think that's about all I have to say, and I'd be glad to hear any questions that you have.
Thank you, Mr. Magnuson. I will state that we do have letters of support, one dated June 6th, 2022 from William Kneisel, one dated June 7th, 2022 from Paul and Lauren Gudonas, and one dated 6/8/22 from John Kneisel. I will now ask the board if they have questions. Brian Solacey.
No, it was pretty straightforward from what I saw on the site visit. I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Jim Dietrich.
I have no questions, Madam Chair.
Okay. John Benares.
Sarah, did you call me? I'm sorry.
Yes. Do you have any questions?
I do not. Sorry, I'm in a bad cell area. I've reviewed everything and I'm okay with it. Thank you.
Okay. James Mitchell.
I don't have any questions per se. I was not able to attend the site meeting, but I did see the letters and read all of the letters from the abutters. And it appears that you have unanimous support from your 3 abutters. So I have no further questions. It seems very straightforward. And I'm pleased with the hedge arrangements, so you're not intruding on anyone's privacy, or so it seems. So I don't have any questions. I think this is extremely straightforward.
Yeah, and I would say that before going on the site visit, my reaction was that normally I wouldn't support a variance for a deck because I kind of see that as a nice to have, not a need to have. Excuse me. But on viewing the site, it was clear that the house is pushed into a corner of the yard. It's an old house. That in order, they can't build a patio right off of the existing deck because of the topography of the land. And they need the privacy of adding to their deck so that both units have outdoor deck space. So I'm okay with this, I think. Any other comments? Any member of the public who would like to be heard on this application? If you do, please raise your hand in Zoom. I don't see any members of the public here. With that, I will make a motion. I move to close the public hearing and approve the application of Richard Axel Magnuson for a variance under section 7.4.6 of the zoning bylaw and/or other relief as may be necessary to construct an extension to the existing deck at 52 Mascanoma Street, to extend behind 54 Mascanoma Street to provide outdoor space to an egress from the apartment/condo at 54 Mascanoma Street. Assessors map number 18, lot number 23A in District E, filed with the town clerk on May 5th, 2022. Based on a finding that a 10-foot high thick hedge provides privacy along the side lot line and the location of the structure precludes the construction of a patio instead of a deck extension, owing to circumstances relating to the shape and topography of the land, especially affecting such land, but not affecting generally the zoning district in which it is located. A literal enforcement of the provisions of the bylaw would involve substantial hardship by not allowing outdoor space for the apartment in this 2-family dwelling, and that the desired relief may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and without nullifying or substantially derogating from the intent or purpose of the bylaw, based on the condition that the extension to the deck is constructed in accordance with the preliminary plan east for 52 Mascanoma Street, prepared by Hillary Holdsworth Design, dated May 5th, 2022. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
James seconds it. Any discussion? I will take a roll call vote. Brian,
Approved.
James,
Approved.
Jim,
Approved.
John,
Approved.
and Sarah approves. I can write this decision. Who would like to review it?
I'll review it, Sarah.
Jim will review it. Okay. Since this is a variance, it's good for 1 year, so you need to start the construction within 1 year after we file it with the town clerk and the 20-day appeal period is up.
Yeah.
Okay,
And the procedure is that I, again, take the plan, construction documents to the building inspector for his review. Is that the next step?
well, I think that, so he's not going to issue the building permit until we file the decision with the town clerk.
Right.
But if you need to go before Conservation Commission, I think you need to check into that.
Yeah.
That should be your next step, because they tend to often require multiple meetings.
Yeah.
And we have up to 90 days to write the decision.
Okay. So, but you're not going to wait for any additional input from the Concom?
No.
Right, okay,
Our decision is distinct from theirs. If the Concom were to require you to make changes to the plan you presented to us, then you would have to come back before us
Right.
for a modification.
that is
Okay,
pos- changes in the position or the size or
Right.
the dimensions of the construction.
Yep,
Okay.
the location of the deck. The patio is not up for review by us. So it's
Right.
just the deck extension.
Right. So do I, if I could get this clear, do I go directly to the Concom myself now? Is that?
Yes.
Okay,
You should, if I were you, I would contact Chris Bertoni.
okay, will do. Great.
Okay. And you
Thank-
can tell her that it came before the ZBA and that we've approved it.
Right. Okay,
Okay.
good. Thank you
Okay.
very much for your help. And it was nice seeing all of you actually, or most of you in person.
Thank you.
Right. Thanks very much.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the continued application of Seaside Legal Solutions PC on behalf of Deegan Partners LLC for a special permit under sections 6.1.2, 4.2.3, and 7.5.2, and for a variance under section 7.4.6 of the zoning bylaw to convert a single-family dwelling into a two-family dwelling at 90 School Street. Assessors map 41, lot number 87 in districts B and D, filed with the town clerk on January 18th, 2022. The applicant has sent us a letter requesting to withdraw the application without prejudice. And that letter was dated June 8th, 2022. As a result of our site visit, the applicant is attempting to adjust the parking area and relocate the existing curb cut. We now have a zoning bylaw change that was announced on April 29th that impacts their ability to obtain a curb cut. So it makes sense that they would withdraw it out without prejudice rather than continue it on infinitum until we can figure out zoning bylaws. So with that, I will make a motion to approve the applicant's request to withdraw their application without prejudice for the application at 90 School Street, Assessors Map number 41, lot number 87 in districts B and D, filed with the town clerk on January 18th, 2022. Do I have a second?
Second.
Brian seconds. Any discussion? Any members of the public have a question on the process? I see Brian has his hand raised. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yes, hi, I'm Brian Miller, 92 School Street, live across Lincoln Avenue from them. I want to know why they can withdraw without prejudice, seeing as how they presented this now for the second time other applications for the same. And this has now been ongoing for over 5 months. And the board has asked them specifically for certain requirements. And those requirements or drawings have never been presented to the board officially. I think it should be withdrawn with prejudice, not without prejudice. Thank you.
Thank you. The reason we withdraw without prejudice is that's our standard method of operating. We have not heard, the applicant has not presented their application to the board yet. So we're unable to make a determination that it should be with prejudice. We believe that every applicant should have their opportunity to have their application heard. And because of complications with respect to the curb cut, they're trying to respond to some of the comments we had at the site visit, and to date, they've not been able to do that. So this is our normal course of action. Any discussion from the board? I'll take a roll call vote. Brian?
Yes.
James?
Yes, approved.
Jim?
Approved.
John?
Approved.
And Sarah approves. Thank you. We'll move on to administrative items. We have 2 sets of minutes to review. Minutes from April 20th and minutes from May 18th. Did people have an opportunity to review those?
Yes.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of, let's do them separately because there's different people who can vote, okay? I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of April 20th, 2022. Do I have a second?
Second.
Jim seconds. The people at that meeting were James Dietrich, Brian Solacey, John Benares, and myself. Is there any discussion with respect to the minutes? I'll take a roll call
Good.
vote. Whoops. Go ahead, John.
I was just saying, I'm good.
Oh, okay. Jim,
Approved.
Brian,
Approved.
and Sarah approves. The next set of minutes is from May 18th. We need 3 people to approve them. And we do not have 3 people in this meeting who were at the May 18th meeting. Only myself and Jim Dietrich were. So we'll have to delay the minutes, these minutes until the next meeting. Okay. Am I correct, Gail, that we have no outstanding decisions?
You're correct.
Yes. Any other matters that people would like to discuss? I did meet with police chief and fire chief today, and Chris Bertoni and Steve Gang regarding just discussing options for conditions on the 40B. So I'll be sending out a summary of my notes. Okay.
Thank you, Sarah, for putting that time in.
Okay, thanks. With that, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Jim seconds. Roll call vote. Brian,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
John. And Sarah votes yes. Thank you all. We will see
might-
you.
You might have
Next
set a record, Sarah. That's a 22-minute meeting.
I like that.
I do too.
Very
And we're-
impressive. Thank you.
We're on next Wednesday for 40B.
Got it.
Architectural.
22 minutes.
Okay, thank
Good night,
you.
all.
Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
night. Thank you.